Hello everybody. Decided I'd try to make a video tonight. Um, I'll start by just adding that my birthday, um, I did get a message from my daughter saying that my father tried to call me 3 times on my birthday. Um, Evidently he didn't bother to ask for my cell phone number or how to get a hold of me, but anyway, uh, just wanted to let you know there's a little hoovering going on. It's been almost a year, no contact. um, and I'm gonna read you something that I wrote when I considering, well, I like writing, so I thought I'd try writing a book. Don't know if it'll ever come to fruition, but anyway, here's a paragraph that I wrote. When I was very young, I pictured my mom's hands as that of what you would see in a movie now, as death. Her hands were just bones. I was looking at her hands with this picture in my head. Well, I wasn't looking at her hands with this picture in my head. Her hands were touching me when I got this picture in my head. It was one of the strangest memories I have. When I got older, I had a repeating nightmare of a witch in a train circling a parking lot of a store that we used to go to. She would leave me in the car and go in the store, and the witch would come to the car and try to get me. The witch in my dream was on a train that circled the parking lot, and she was green, just like the witch in the Wizard of Oz. And in this dream, which was like a repeating nightmare that I had since probably about 3 years old. In this dream, my mom, we would go to the store. She would leave me in the car while she went in, which is something that she did a lot. And the train would be circling the parking lot with this witch hanging out the front of, like, the engine part of the train. And I would see her, and she would notice me in the car, and then she would appear next to the car, and I would lock the doors. And this was before electric locks, of course, so I physically would lock the doors, have to go to each door and lock them, and she would unlock them with her mind, I guess, or magic or whatever, but she could just look at the locks and unlock them. So I would be frantically going back and forth from door to door trying to keep the doors locked. And then in the dream, my mom will get in the car, and then, like, the witch is gone, and I'll tell my mom what happened, and she doesn't believe me. Okay, so that dream went on up until my 20s. It was in my 20s the last time I had that dream. And the image of my mother's hands, this comes from a very early memory, and you can choose not to believe this memory, because I was only 7 months old, and I can't deny the memory because it's always been there, always. And I believe the reason it's always been there is because there were pictures taken that day. It was Christmas, and my mother had dressed me up for Christmas, and there was a lot of pictures taken this day, actually. And so I'd always seen them. I was always exposed to these pictures, so I never really forgot that day completely. I mean, I don't remember the whole day, but I remember the trauma. Okay, so Anyway, mom gets me dressed up. I don't remember her getting me dressed up. I just know because of the pictures that I was dressed up in a little red dress with white lace. And my dad was like in a red vest and a white shirt. And mom was in like a white dress in these pictures. And okay, the memory is before the pictures. And I'm sitting on the kitchen floor in this outfit. And every time I start to crawl, she starts yelling and like losing her mind. And it would stun me, and I would just sit there a minute, and I'd start to crawl again, and she'd start yelling and losing her mind again. And of course, I don't really understand because I'm 7 months old. So, next thing I know is I'm in I'm in the hamper, the dirty clothes hamper, and there's little holes, but along the top of this hamper, and I could see Adam. I could see her shadow going back and forth, and I was just wondering what the hell, I guess. And then right before my dad walked in the door, she took me out of the hamper and set me on the couch. When Dad got in, he got it home from work, and he got into his red vest and white shirt and came out to the living room for pictures. A neighbor, and I just know this from the story that was told to me, the neighbor from downstairs, who was a lifelong friend of my parents, came up and took the pictures. Okay, one of these pictures ended up being a Christmas ornament that hung on our tree every year. And every time, it's actually in my possession now, buried with Christmas stuff, but I haven't been able to hang it on my tree. It just stays in the bottom of the box, and it doesn't make it to the tree. And anyway, this picture is of me, my mom and dad, and my mom, she's holding me up like a prop, like this. She's not lovingly holding me. I am like, she's got her hand under my dress, okay, and like supporting my bottom, I assume. But it was this way. So, at that moment of taking those pictures and her hand up my dress, I have an image in my head as this baby. I have the darkest image of the hand that looks like death, and it's in black and white, and it's just bony fingers under my dress. I don't know why I had that image at the time I was that young. Why an image like that would be in such a young mind. And that's a bit disturbing. Then I was throwing such a fit, and crying and wiggling and trying to get away from my mother, and got over to my dad. So mom handed me over to dad while they're still taking pictures, and then I'm fine. He's holding me close. I look happy in the pictures, and then what I do remember is he tried to hand me back to my mother, and I didn't want to go, and I started throwing a fit, and he got frustrated and just shoved me over to her. And this memory has been with me forever, like I said, and I denied it I just, didn't give it any attention. I won't say I denied it. I'm sorry about that. But I didn't give it much attention. But but I've been reading articles about the defense mechanisms of the brain, and really trying to uncover the emotions and the memories from some of these situations that I really don't remember clearly, but I have, these images in my database back there. So, um, yeah, I don't know why the hands of death. I don't know why the witch and the nightmare that I've had, but still trying to figure it out. I it makes sense to me, and this is kind of a newer revelation about the whole situation. It makes sense to me that when I was on the floor crawling as a 7 month old in the pretty little outfit, that she didn't want me crawling because she didn't want me to get dirty. And it feels like a real memory that she said something to the effect that if you want to be in dirty clothes, we can arrange that. Or, not quite that nicely, but that's what makes sense to me. Not saying I remember that verbatim, but I feel that that's what was going on with her. Um, so let's see. Um, I'll touch on one more thing that I had written a little bit about, and I'll read that to you. Um, she had a Ouija board, and her and my aunt would talk to it, and she asked if I would win the next skating competition. The board said yes. She came in my room and told me what happened, and she was so happy and elated, like it was already reality. I did take first place my next competition, and she always led me to believe that she could read my thoughts and knew me better than I knew myself. I was frequently spanked as a toddler, but the more I learned to talk, the less spankings I got. One day when I was about 3 or 4 and learning to wash my hair by myself, my mom told me to take a bath and wash my hair before going out to my cousin's house, which were 4 girls, all older than me. And I was excited to go. I loved it there, and it was in a rural community, and a nice change from my neighborhood. So I got in the bath and I washed my hair, got myself dressed, and I was ready to go. And like I said, I was 3 or 4. Um, then my mom calls me into the kitchen, and she's sitting at the table, and she's giving me the 3rd degree, and she's accusing me of not washing my hair. And I did wash my hair, and um, I I got spanked, and I was told that I couldn't go to my cousin's house for lying about washing my hair. And so I'm upset, and then my dad walks in, and my mom was telling me the reason she didn't believe that I washed my hair was because the the lid was put back on the shampoo bottle, and I would always forget to put the lid back on. And when she was giving me the 3rd degree, I did admit that I did not put the lid back on the shampoo bottle. And she said, well, it was on the shampoo bottle, so I know you didn't wash your hair. Well, when my dad walked in, he saw that I was in trouble, and mom was telling, starting to tell dad about what happened, and he goes, I know, she left the lid off the shampoo again, and I had to put the damn thing back on. Well, that kind of blew my mom's whole theory out of the water, right? But no. It didn't change the outcome of the day. She didn't say she was sorry. She says, well, now you're not going to go because you didn't put the lid on the shampoo bottle. Yeah. Oh well. Anyway, those are just the weird things that stick out in my mind. And I'll share more later. This video is getting kind of long. And thank you for watching. And I appreciate all of you. And yeah, peace, you guys. Take care, man.